Oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. Got to take myself off mute. Hope you're all well. Thanks for being here, and welcome to another episode of What's Going On in the Shed. This is actually officially the 100th live episode, and I know I've done a few more lives than that, but it's getting up there. We're getting better slowly but surely. Didn't know whether I was going to go live tonight. We had the grandkids for the last couple of nights, days and nights. It's been a bit stressful on Mrs. Shed Talk and the Shed Dogs, but we're here. They're good, trust me, they're good kids. They really are. And it's just rather tiring because they've got so much energy and want to go. And anyway, it just goes to show you we're getting old, and it doesn't take much for us to get worn out. But anyway, without further ado, I'm just finished off a lemon lime and bitters Bundaberg ginger beer. Bundaberg, you guys know this. Brewers of good stuff, family owned. They brew, Bundaberg ginger beer, lemonade lime bitters. They do a bunch of stuff. Everybody knows who they are. Not far away is the Bundaberg rum distillery, also the sugar mill that they use the molasses to make the rum. You're right, Peter. Absolutely right. Let's check if the highlight is working, and yep, there you go, the highlight's working. Yeah, so even Nightbot's here saying hello, Nightbot, and everyone, thanks for being here. Anyway, I've got some work to do on the lathe, so we're just going to jump over onto the lathe. I'm going to have the chat on the phone with me. I'll be away, so we'll jump over to the live cam. I hope you guys can hear me well. Hopefully it's not too distorted or too loud or anything like that. And there we go. So here we are behind the scenes. I've already been doing some lathe work. And we're just going to jump straight into the lathe. I'm making up, what we're doing is making up some new nuts for the steamroller. Yes, I'm going nuts. So these ones here have had a bit of they're all right, but they've had a bit of a sad life. They've been hit with a cold chisel more than once or twice, especially this particular one. And it's just not worth trying to do anything with them. I could actually weld them up and machine them back, but they're 100 years old, at least 100 years old. So it's about time for some new ones. All 5x5, thank you very much, Peter, really appreciate it. These are 5/8, let's get a bit closer, because we've got to get this thing up here anyway. Right, and we get the tailstock up here. And these are 5/8 Whitworth. Now, this is all Whitworth. The whole engine has Whitworth threads on it. No fine threads or anything like that. That was the in thing at the time. And I'm sure Emma can, give us the rundown on Whitworth. In fact, I should actually find some information out about Mr. Whitworth. He was one of the Victorian engineers of the day, like many others, like Mr. Hackworth and, just to name a few. But anyway, I've already got this, it's a little bit oversized, so I'm going to tap a thread in here, or do my best to get the tap started, then I'll finish it off by hand. The idea is that I'll tap all this, I'll thread that all the way down. What's that, about 50, it's about 45 mil. That's enough to get easily two nuts out of that. And the idea is that once I run the tap through here and form the thread, then I'll part it off and we can go over to the milling machine and get that set up to machine the hex on the rotary table. So we're going to put that into low gear, and we're going to use the mechanical advantage here. We've slowed the lathe right down to its slower speed. I've got this as tight as I can get it. Actually, no, it's not. I'll get my little C-spanner here. The chuck here, the keyless chuck, does have a few holes in it. So I'm actually going to tighten that up as tight as I can, so that the what's the name? Yeah, I'm having a mind blank. So the tap, right, so that's a thing, magic thing called a tap. That's the thing that forms the thread, so that it doesn't spin in the chuck as easily. Now this is not ideal, it puts a lot of weight on the chuck, but it's a good way to get it square and started, so here we go. And as you can see, it didn't take much to actually start spinning the chuck, and I need to get the C-spanner again and undo that. However, we've made a start. And right, let's get that out the way. So what we'll do now is, I've got a little centre somewhere centre in the, here it is, the old. Right, this little magic thing here just goes in your chuck. Thanks, G. Tap it in, yes, tap it in, that's it. This little device here is spring-loaded. So I can now put that in the lathe chuck and do it up. And what I will do now is I will get, hang on, that goes on there like so. I need to get a tap wrench. Now a tap wrench is, I could use this. I could use the old trusty heavy duty stamped drop forged shifter, adjustable spanner, wrench, crescent wrench, you know, whatever you want to call it, depending on what part of the world you come from. But a tap wrench is a really far superior piece of equipment. Now, have I got one? Oh, yes, I have. Right, I've got one right here. This is a fairly old model. Now, the idea is, right, now everything's going to get in the way. And I'm going to be limited on what I can do. Now this is not going to work. This is not ideal. So what I can do is normally you can take one end out. Looks like I might have to go to the old shifter, or maybe I could find the right size spanner. Let's see if I can find the right size spanner. Now they do make tools the right size, and that's still too big. And that's too big. Go the next size down, it's probably going to be too small. Yeah. But that's the right size there. 7/16, let's go further down. And they do actually make sockets to go on these. And no, right, okay. This is a bit embarrassing. The old verniers to the rescue. Oh, excuse me. The old lemon lime and bitters is working well. Right, that's 10 millimetres there, across there. Will a 10 millimetre socket fit on there then? No, because it's Yeah, righto. But then the socket's not going to let me. No. Right. I'm sure everyone's got an answer for this. No. Darn it. So the socket would be nice, but that's, oh, Jesus, it's either too big, too small, nothing in between. Yeah, no, righto. Shifter it is. Righto. Didn't really want to do it this way, but anyway. Tap it in, the G-Man says. So that's going to load up on the spring and keep pressure on there. And I'll put a spanner on here, and I'm just going to do this. And as we go in with the tap, it's probably more comfortable to do it this way. And problem with the shifter, as you can see, it locks on. So every so often I'll just back it off a bit and it breaks the chips as it forms. And come on, you're supposed to be springing into action there. I wonder if that and this is going to be harder than this is supposed to be easy. The other way to do it is to power feed right. I'm going to do what I used to do. So I'm going to power feed this in. So we could possibly break something, but let's do it nice and slow. All right, let's back that off a bit. Gets it done a bit quicker. Interesting to note, when there we go. When you tap a hole like this, the actual tips of the tap get rather hot. Like it gets some sort of degree of hotness that it's quite outstanding actually. Here we go again. Right, let's back that off and get that out of there. That's the quick way of doing it. Yep, sure did, Pete. Lubed her up, mate. Yeah, put cutting oil on it. Of course, now we go in reverse. And we get all our chips out. And actually what I could have done is had the coolant running in there, which I might do now. So the coolant's going to wash all of that out. Just like so. Right. So we're that far down, right, so we'll just tap that a little bit further. Right, let's bring our thing back in, which is not working how I thought it would. Right, I won't go much further than that because I've got more than 2 nuts worth of thread on there, and if it is a bit shallow, if it is a tiny bit shallow, we can always run the tap back through a piece of the nut. Now the other thing I also did, give that a clean. Now what else did I do? What else did I say I was going to do? I have no idea, I just had a brain blank. It's some crazy idea I was going to talk about. There's a few things coming up. So the end of this month, there's a few things happening. As in, we're getting ready to start steaming again at the club at Old Petrie Town. First Sunday of the month. So first Sunday in February will be our first steaming day for 2026. And there's a few things to prep on the engines, some maintenance being done, as there always is. And we're going to go to 300 on this for parting. Yep. So that's coming up start of February, so we're in the middle of January already, and which is only really a couple of weeks away, and time's flying fast already. Oh, right, here we go. Parting off. Whoa! It's a bit hard, Mark. I've already had a shower tonight. Now the tool I'm using is the grooving tool, and default parting off tool. Absolutely fantastic. Probably the second best parting tool I've ever used on a lathe. The best parting tool I've used is probably an Iscar, and I really had to part off some stuff many years ago on a lathe, a lot bigger than this, and a lot deeper than this too, about 100 mil, 75, 80 mil deep, pretty deep parting. So I'd start off with like a 3mm parting blade, go in as far as I could, and then come back in with a 4mm blade. Was it the other way around? 3mm, yeah, whatever way it was. But yeah, we're doing some serious deep parting. Now this starts to wobble as we start to part it off, and there you go. And in fact, right, we'll get into the habit of facing that off, so we'll put our tool back on again. Righto, so I didn't quite go all the way through, that's all right. We'll, there's plenty of thread there to make the nuts. I'll give that a clean up. I'll face this off, and then that's ready. Go a bit faster. It's always nice to have your material faced off. No jagged edges or anything like that. This is just mild steel, it's nothing special. And we'll put a nice little chamfer on there so there's no burrs. Just run the lathe file over it. There you have it. So that bit of steel is ready to go for the next job, whatever that's going to be. And you get to a point where stuff like this can come in handy for something. There you go. Yeah, 1st of Feb. Yeah, that's it, Pete. 1st of Feb. So that'll go back in the drawer over here with the odds and sods. And in fact, I've got some other, I've got some leftover steel from another job, or from the roller, which we're going to turn these into nuts as well. But they're going to be 1/2 inch, they won't be 5/8. Right. And I might just, I'll face that off. What the hell? Now, another job I've got to do is I have a bit of steel which I've got to make a pin for one of the steamroller down at Old Petrie Town. Let's just check, make sure we're... Stephen Small Engine. G'day, how are ya? Stephen Small Engine. Cheers, man, thanks for being here. This your first time here, Stephen? If it is, thanks. Nice to have you in. Yeah, I'm restoring a steamroller, and I'm just making some parts for it, getting ready to make some nuts, machine some nuts. Take a bit more off. Put a nice nice chamfer on that. Right, that'll do it. And in fact, I'll swing that camera around. Righto, for those of you not familiar, there it is, there's the steamroller, or the boiler of it anyway, and other parts are floating around the place. Everything's pulled apart in a million pieces, like any restoration. Righto, so that's beautiful, that's going on there nicely. I'm just checking the threads. They will need to be cleaned up, but they're in a real dog of a position, right up the front. And we'll start looking at the milling machine. Get the lights on over here on the milling machine. I've got the rotary table all set up. I haven't touched it for a while. In fact, yeah, I'll leave the camera there. I haven't touched this for a while, mainly because I've just been doing other things, and yeah, as you do. Another leftover piece of stuff I machined up with an internal thread for a job I was doing. I just can't remember. I think I did it live on here, or I made a video about it. There's other videos on the channel if you got the time to go and do it. Oh, that was, of course, there's all bronze here, so I was remachining some hex for a bronze part. Just forget what I was doing, but that's what we were doing. So we'll give that a clean up, just like so. And of course, as with all things, the setup takes longer than anything else. So what I've got to do, I've got to make sure I've got enough. I'll grab one of those nuts. Righto. And in fact, right, so we've got plenty of room to machine the hex, and we're slightly oversized. So now what we've got to do is dial this in so that when I machine the hex, it's all concentric and it's not one side or the other. So, right, wind the table down. And it is, what is it? What is it time? What's the time? It's almost 8 o'clock here, 9 o'clock in southern states. Hello Kerry. Sister's in the... I'm just catching up in the chat. Yeah. Righto, so tiny, lost back there. Yeah. Further you get away, the further it goes. What's that old saying? Something like that. Right, so we've got that locked in there. What can I do? No, I've got to get it. Yeah, don't worry. There's a hat if anybody wants one. I just got a... I'm having a brain aneurysm. Can't think straight. And everything's unlocked. I got my back to you guys, unfortunately. What I should do... Right, let's... I'm going to reposition the main camera over there so you've got a side view and not a back view. Yeah. Right. Now, what have I got to do? I've got to set this up. The other thing I can do, I tell you what, the cheats way. Yeah, no, I should really dial it in, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's do that. The cheats way. Okay, so when I talk about the cheats way, not a cheat way, it's a quick way, is I put the drill chuck in, I put the tap in the drill chuck, get my words right, and I line this up so that the tap can screw in nicely. And then I get my dimension that I want and I just halve it, and then I can come through and just machine one side. Because the rotary table, because what I'll do, and that's what I'll do, I'll set this on 0. Now, rotary table, or index, this is not an index, it's more of a rotary table. They're a perfect bit of gear, and they're set up for to divide into minutes and seconds and all that lovely sort of stuff. So when we're doing a hex, we divide 360 degrees by 6, and that gives us 60 degrees. So each time I move it, I'm moving it 60 degrees. I think that's right. I'm sure that's right. Hey, gee, how's your... No, Peter, I don't have a collet block. That's something I need to buy off Temu. I've seen them on Temu. Yes, a collet block would be great. And what Peter is talking about is a collet block is essentially a bigger version of this nut here. And it's a block. And it's basically a piece of hex bar. And it's already set, so when doing stuff like this, you just set it up in the vise. You set your touch off, get your dimension, you machine it, then you flip it over, you machine, and it's just a quick way of doing it, a lot quicker than doing it on here. But this is all I've got at the moment. So this is how we're going to do it. Nothing wrong with doing it this way. It just takes a little bit longer, and you could probably be a little bit more precise doing it this way too. Right, I need a hammer. Everyone's got a different idea. But yeah, collet block would be good. It'd just be another thing, and you can get them in a hex, you can get them in a square, and I think that's about it. I think, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong. Now they should be the same size. If they're the same size, there's no point putting the chuck on. That can go straight in there. But it's probably that square that's stopping it. Yeah. Bugger me. That's 12.5 and that's 12. Yep. See if I can take this out. Yeah, no, won't go on there. Bugger me, bugger. Right, so it's the drill chuck, it is. Nutty, all right. Nutty's, I don't think, is nutty a word? Are we nutty, or just nuts? Yeah, what am I doing? I've already got a spanner up here for this, haven't I? Yeah. Why get another one? That's how nuts I am. I keep forgetting what spanners I've got, and the spiders are crawling all over the gear here because I don't use it enough, and I need a big shifter. And we're shifty buggers too. No, I'm not a professor, G. I'm not a professor. Not a professor whatsoever. I don't profess anything. I only profess that I'm disorganised sometimes, most of the time, which can drive some people crazy, but I do have a method to my madness. Right, let's keep the Spaniards here. Alright, so as I said before, we're going to put this in the chuck, like so. Right, we'll just tighten it up by hand. We'll drop that down, and in fact, that's all. That's as far as it can go. Sounds like Evel Knievel's on his motorbike there. And we'll go down here. So we've got some clearance. Righto. Now, undo the quill. Oh, excuse me. Now I'm lining this up. You probably can't see this. I probably should set up the. I should back that off. So that's free. That's a lot freer than what it normally would be. And I'll do that up. I should set up the phone with the cam. That way we get a closer view. And righto. Oh, thank you, G. Thank you very much. Where is the righto? Bear with me. Bear with me. I'd have to set up another. Oh, that's going to take too much, isn't it? Oh, bugger it, I'll just keep going. How about I zoom in? I tell you what, I'll zoom in a bit. I can do that. We have the technology. And go there, like so. Oh, I don't have a hissy fit. Righto. Here we go, a bit of zoom action. So we'll go, yeah, we'll go That looks pretty good. Thanks, Katie. Mate, like I said before, I'm actually over 100 episodes. I've done more than 100 live streams, but anyway, it is what it is. Righto, so that's all free, and hopefully you can see that a little bit better on screen. So what I'll do is I can start to feed that in. And I can just adjust this very slowly. Let's take that out. Now, let's see how that's going to go. Let's wind that down. So we've got some. Right, I've just wound that down. And I'm winding that in. So that's a good fit in there. And what I can do is just which way am I going? I'm going the wrong way. Right, so that's gripping on, and I'll just back that off. No, righto. Righto, that's as near as damn it. Right, so we're probably not going to get much better than that. Like I said, I should really... And what I'm just doing now is zeroing my digital readout. So I can put the lock in place, and I'll change out that chuck so we can put the other one back in to do some cutting. Now, as always, a bit of a noise, a bit of a tap. And we'll put our collet back in. Do that up. Put that back over there. We probably shouldn't, I don't think we'll need that again. I'll use this cutter that I've already got and see how it goes. It's high-speed steel. It's a fairly long one. I probably really need a short one. Let's have a look over in the drawer here of my cutters. I have a selection of cutters. Obviously a carbide one would be preferable, and that's probably a bit blunt. And that's, yeah, that looks all right. I'll give that one a whirl. Righto, so is that 12 mil? That's 12, righto. Now, cutters, carbide types of cutters. This is carbide, or cemented carbide. No, it's carbide. It's a manufactured metal. It's harder than the other cutter I had. The other cutter was high-speed steel, and they both do the same job, relatively speaking, but one lasts longer. And pretty interesting process how they actually manufacture these, how it starts out as a raw material, and of course there's a process, refining process, If that's something that interests you, you can look it up on YouTube. There's probably more than one video out there of it, about it. But it's a common thing used in industry, and it weighs a lot heavier. It's a very dense material. Right, okay. And we need our verniers, so I'm doing everything here in, this is all, I'm measuring in metric, so I should really be measuring in imperial sizes. It doesn't, well actually it doesn't matter which way you go. I'll do it in metric because I work better in metric. In fact, let's find the correct spanner. Right, it's a Whitworth spanner. It's 5/8 Whitworth. Now that is the size of the thread, not the actual nut size. And when you see these spanners, it'll usually say 5/8 BSW or 5/8 BS or 9/16 Whitworth. So it's a little bit confusing, but it's an old system, which is really, it's not standard anymore. That's why we've gone to the metric system. Well, most of the world is on the metric system, except for that other funny place that's currently decided to take over another country just for the hell of it, I think. That's a bit loose. Right, too big, too little. Right, I'm digging through my spanners, but I will go get my socket set, my Whitworth socket set, because it's right. Jamar, g'day Jamar, how are you? Thanks for being here. Glad you can make it. New V strawberry energy drink is coming out next week. Holy guacamole. That is crazy. Right, so I'm going to go for a walk over to the ute and get out. I have a Whitworth socket set, and that'll help me get the correct sizing for these nuts. And once again, if you're only just tuning in, I am nuts. I'm making nuts. I'm going to be nuts. I have been nuts. Oh, I always will be nuts. There you go. You're nuts for watching this. You're nuts for watching this live stream. Righto. This is a Whitworth socket set made by Trax, or supplied by Trax. It's made in Taiwan, Taiwanese. Let's go over here. Here it is here. Great set. Perfect for working on steamrollers. And Emma, if you're still awake, I highly recommend you get yourself one. Righto. And that one, right. So that socket is 5/8. That's one we want. Now it is a little bit loose. Now that could be, right, let's change again. Change. Martin nut talk, that's the one. Right. Over here, you see I'm a hand model. Righto, here's the socket. Let's get a bit closer. Here's the socket, here's the nut. Now, that's a little bit loose. You probably can't see that. Yeah, but you can probably hear it. It's a lot looser than what I thought. And where's the other nut? He's right here on camera. The other nut's on camera. Yeah, the other one's fairly loose too. Let's see if I can find another 5/8 nut that's... Right, I've got another 5/8 nut. Like I said, these things are 100 years old, so they are going to have a bit of wear. there is a bit of play there, more than what I thought actually. Right, bit of play there. You can see me holding a nut and it jiggling around like that. And so what I'll do is when I make these new ones, I'll make it a really nice fit on this socket, and I'll probably then just take a little bit off. And now, because this is a multi, right, the socket, here we are, righto, has a number of multi bits cut into it, whereas our nut is a hex. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, and this is 12. And what we're after is we want the bit on the hex. That's down to 31.32, and that's 32.6. So there's quite a bit of difference there. Hey, and I'm glad I can make you guys laugh and have a giggle, have a childish giggle. There's nothing wrong with talking about our nuts. We've got to look after our nuts. You know, that is well documented. You've got to look after your nuts. Okay, so there's no shame about our nuts here. Right. So my piece of steel here, the diameter is 31.6, and that's 32.5. Oh, I might be undersized here. Whew. I might be undersized. Let's see how we go. If I'm undersized, I'll just make some new ones. It makes good practice. Righto, let's go 28. I want 28. Across there I want 28. 28? Maybe we can go more. 28. I think we can go more. Let's just go 30. Let's just go 30. Right, so what I'm just working out is how much I'm going to be taking off the sides to get my desired dimension. And what you've got to take into account is we're in the centre, so we're on 0. This is 31.5. Where do I put it? My brain's not functioning. My brain never functions. Cody, member for 2 months. Oh, thank you, Cody, for being a member for 2 months. I really do appreciate. I appreciate all my members. I know you sort of can't see me properly, but anyway, I appreciate all my members. Cheers, everyone. Thank you very much. And oh, seriously? 30 or 29.95. Well, Jamar, yeah, look, it's, I'll just pick a figure, I'll start machining, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. Oh, look at that. Yes, there's a nut and bolt, yes. Thanks, Peter. There's coconut, peanut. What's the other one? Donut. Yes, he did too, Kerry. I remember those ads. They can't be shown on TV anymore. I suppose it's a bit like half the stuff that Hale and Pace have done over the time. Righto, so we're going to bring the table up closer to our workpiece. So you'll see me bobbing up and down. Righto. Cashew nut. Thanks, Jamar. Thank you. Maybe I should add those emojis to the what's that? But anyone can use them. So we're all nuts. Righto. So let's now what do we want? Okay, so that minus that, Here's a little bit of math for the class tonight. It's 28. Let's go round figures, that's, yeah. Righto, 28. 28. And we got 31.5. Right, so 31.5 minus 28 is 3.5. Half of 3.5, divide that by 2, is 1.75. So, righto, I can just go, you silly boy mark, because that's in the centre, that's lined up in the centre. And we just move across, we move the table across. Right, and that's off, that's off. That's 21 there. Righto, 21. That's going to be 21. Let's see how that goes. I can always adjust. Like I said, it's been a while. Down 1.75. Come on. Geez, I'm that far behind, am I? Right. So what I'll do now, actually I'll come back to that. I'll go clear and I'll go down with plenty of room, and then I'll come across and I'll just touch. So righto, we've got to tighten this back up. That's a pretty good speed. That's going to need to move. And I'll just come in and touch. Oh. There we go. I'm going to zero that. 22. Actually, no. I'll go 21.5. That over there. Righto. So what I'll do is I'll just spin round 180. So the next cut will be 60. Then 120. 120 and 60 is 180, so that way I can get my measurement to where I want it. So we're only taking 1/2 mil cut each time. So I can measure that now. Right, I'll turn that off. I can measure that, and that's 30.6. Yeah, we've got a long way to go. So I'll end up taking another 1/2 mil off down to 21. Right. Back round to zero again. Like I said, I'll get my measurement this side. And I'll probably need to give me numbers a bit of a clean up because they're a bit hard to read. Right, we'll stop again. and we'll check it out. Righto, 29.6, so that really needs to keep going down because that's not gonna fit. We got 29.6 and then we got 27.6, so we've got another 2 mil to come off. So yeah, we got a bit to come off yet. In this case, Peter, no, you don't have to allow for the cutter size because I've just touched off. So that's the way. Yeah, if I was really mucking around and calculating it out, yeah, I would do the cutter size, but because I'm doing it this way, righto. So let's go another 1/2 mil each. Now, this is probably not the way that some people would do it, others would do it. And in, what the hell? Oh, gone too far. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you do it. Get the job done. That's right, we've already done that. Just looked a bit out. So we'll just start doing the complete hex. This is a fairly big cut here, I think. I don't know if it's going to handle it all right or not. Pretty good, and you can see already, maybe you can't see, we're forming a hex. Oh, let's back that off, that's too much. Can actually bite off more than you can chew. So we're not going to do the 180 because we've already done that. 180 and 60 is 240 class, 240 degrees. From now on we'll just take it. Once we go around the clock here, 240, 300 is the next one. Collar blocks, yeah. Yeah, Pete. And a 0. So we're back to the start again. 0 degrees, everything's 0. And we'll just come over. Righto. And I'll just go around and do our 1/2 mil cut. I've really got the light in the wrong spot here. Probably should get one of my magnetic lights to help me see what I'm doing. Especially on the numbers anyway. That's better. Right, this is the one I tried to take a bit too much, so I just ease into it. I think I've made it worse. Probably going to be in the way now. At a 180. Gone too far? No. Right. Around a 240. Nice and gentle. Go past. There is a bit of backlash there, and I'll double check everything. Like I said, if it's moved, I'll just, if it hasn't worked out the way I thought it would be, then I'll just start again. Sometimes you make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes. But so far, everything's looking good. Yep. So I'll take another 1/2 mil off. And we'll just do it again. Round and round we go. So once we do this, we'll check our sizing. See how we're going for size. nuts go, it's looking quite nice. Now, if you're mass producing these, you wouldn't do it this way, you'd do it differently. There's videos on YouTube on how nuts are made in a full-on production situation. But for a couple of one-offs like this, it's a good way to go. Righto, so we just go one, we got one, should have one more cut. We'll stop and just double check everything. See how we're going for size. Okay, when we're back to 0, so it just touched, so back to 0, we'll wind this right out here so we've got plenty of clearance. Whew, bit of a marathon that. Get me a little brush and brush it off. You guys have probably gone to sleep by now. And later this month, maybe next week, might do a giveaway, I think. Don't know what I got to give away. Free advice, don't do this. 27.6, oh, that's almost perfect. Oh, yeah, oh, you know, that's a little bit loose. And yeah, that's spot on. Right. And that's about the same as these. Right. Watermelon and coconut yogurt for dessert. Thanks, G. I just need that, you know, that fine voice like some ASMR people have, or that slow, rhythmic dullness, you know, dullness or whatever it is. Anyway, there we have it. I should put that on repeat, shouldn't I? Just constantly loop it over. Yeah, all right. It's a little bit looser than what I wanted it. However, for whatever it is doing, for what it's doing, it's a bit loose. I said I went a bit much on that, but anyway, it is what it is. Right. Well, I reckon that's pretty good. It's not perfect, but I suppose nothing is. So if I tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to reset that 0. And in fact, I'll go 0.25 on the readout, so it'll be slightly bigger. Right, let's have a look at the finished product. In fact, I'm going to sit down in front of the computer for a while and have a drink and have a talk about this. I think everyone's gone to sleep, Jamar. Oh, here we go. Oh, don't you do that. Right, well, I'll turn you, let's zoom out. Here we go, we'll zoom out. There we go, and we'll turn this auto tracking off, otherwise people are going to get seasick. Thanks everyone for still being here. I'm going to grab some water. I was a little bit out on my measurements. They are, however, exactly the same as right. So here's our finished product. This is our nuts to be. Right, the hex has been formed very nicely. We've got the socket. It goes in there. It is a little bit loose. It's a little bit loose for my liking. As I said, it turned out to be 27.62 millimetres, or 27.7. A little bit of variation there. And these nuts, these ones here, that are as old as this steamroller, which is 100 years old, and that have been bashed around over time, they're 27.4, 0.5. So yeah, they're a little bit, they're virtually the same size, and I just made an adjustment and reset the indexing, set the digital readout. So this next lot turns out a little bit bigger. I'm still happy, it still works, but I think we'll just make it a little bit bigger. So what I'll do is now I'll just invert that, and I'll grab this by the 3 jaws, and then I'll machine the top, do the top bit, and then hold it in the lathe and part it off to get exactly what I need. So one's going to be slightly a better fit than the other, and that's really not going to bother me at all. It probably will. I'll probably, in all fairness, I'll probably get the shits and go, that's not right. So I didn't. Yeah, I should have left myself more material actually on the OD. I should have left it at 30. Hang on. So when I machined it down, to 31.6. So I should have left it at 32, which would have been much better, because even though the original one's 31.1, that would have given us a bit more, you know, we wouldn't have so much clearance here. And however, this might vary a little bit. If we get I've got a ring spanner here, and no, that's not that one. Right, this is the old famous King Dick spanner that Cody loves. Here we go, spinning round and round and round. The old, no joke, King Dick, they make spanners. They're an English firm, and they're still manufacturing. There you go, look at that. Oh, it's a bit blurry. There you go, King Dick. Good old King Dick spanner. And it's proudly made in England. And if you have a look on here, it says 5/8 BS and 9/16 Whitworth. BS is British Standard, and 9/16 is Whitworth. That doesn't fit in there, it's a little bit too big. The other end is 3/4 Whitworth, so, and this socket is 5/8. It actually says 5/8, no, 5/8 BSW on there, if you can see that. Yeah. Oh, I got something caught in my chair. Now, I thought I had a, let's dig a bit deeper here with these spanners. There we go. when you look in the right place, Mark's Scooter Show. Right, so even that there, that says 58 BS, and that's a bit tight on there, so 9/16 Whitworth. So something's a bit, so this spanner here is the same as that other one, and it's a bit tight. So, hang on, I don't think I've got another one. Righto, dig, or drill baby drill. Let's get the spanners out. I've got more spanners than I can poke a stick at. Oh, here we go. Right, we've got a really old city chrome, made in Australia. Sid chrome. There we go. And this one is 58 BSW. And that won't fit either. Okay. And 11/16. Right. Well, there you go. So 11/16 fits on there perfectly for this ring spanner. And this is part of the reason why you have a number of spanners, because there's always going to be a difference, and those nuts fit in there perfectly. So obviously there's a slight difference between that and this, and if I get that, if I get that, so that's 30, right, that's 32, righto. See if I measure that, see how that's, there we go, 32 inside across the, there shouldn't be a difference. Well, Emma, there shouldn't be a difference. Becky, hi everyone, I'm about to go to bar, so, righto mate, thanks for being here, appreciate you dropping in and leaving a chat. But during World War II, they changed the standard down 1/6. Is that correct, Emma? 1/16? 1/6? Right. Well, I've got a spanner that fits these nuts perfectly, right? Look at that, perfect. 100-year-old nuts, perfect. And I just machined this one, and that fits in there perfect. And this is a Sid chrome spanner, and it says 11/16. So, but the 58 BS is a little bit loose on there. Down one size. Okay. Right. But anyway, guaranteed that when this goes back on, more than likely, it's probably not going to come off for the next 100 years. Hopefully not, I think. Well, I think we've had enough of going nuts with Mark. I think I'm going to leave it at that. My nut was, yes, Emma. These nuts, the engine was made in 1926. These manufacturing tolerances, yeah. Yep. So, I think we've had enough fun tonight, and and I'm going to add a scene, and I'm going to call that outro. Oops, don't worry, I'm still here. I'm still here. Right, outro, and I'm going to add a media source. Don't worry, I'm still here. Screen hasn't gone blank for no reason. Where is it? Thumbnails, videos, intro video. Where's the outro video? Outro. Nope. Intro, so out. Fade to black, no, blink to black, out. To outro video. Maybe it's on the external. There it is, outro video. Oh, look at that. Whistle time. Hang on, I'll come back here. Hang on, it's not quite over yet. Hold your horses, settle down. Settle down. I know everyone's eager to get out of here. It's been a long night. And we're going up, down. Don't worry, we're still here. We're still here, folks. But not for much longer. I'm going to wrap it up at that. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate you coming in, commenting, and look at this. Look at this. Can I highlight that? And just before we go, no. I wish I could. I should be able to. I can see that Cody subscribed, but thanks, Cody, for being a member. There's other members like Funk and Hungry, I think, quite a few other. Peter, there's quite a few others. Well, that's right, Cody. You got your pony to hold on to. So that concludes tonight's nut job. Once you go black, you never come back. Oh my God. I don't know, Pete. I don't know what you're referring to there. But thanks everyone for tuning in for this bit of a crazy live stream. Stay safe, look after yourselves. Please know that you are appreciated, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Whistle time. Whistle time.